Today, we're going to take a look at a report about Smokeable cannabis toothpicks. Yeah. We're also going to take a look at some pre-rolls, though. First, coming up, looking at how pre-rolls increased 20% of sales during the pandemic during 2020. Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your Cannabis Business Podcast. So cannabis pre-rolls are outperforming the overall market growth. Pre-rolls surging nearly 50% from last year in key recreational states, obviously spurred by that pandemic. So becoming the second fastest growing product category behind flower. Cannabis consumers are continuing to shop for value and convenience. So price and convenience, the number one and number two thing that any consumer is looking at. Price and convenience, cannabis being no different. Maybe that's because it's maturing. So in case you didn't know, pre-roll is the commonly used industry term for a professionally rolled marijuana cigarette, otherwise known as a joint. Thank you, MJ Business Daily. So Headset data analytics company is looking at recreational markets and pre-rolls for California, Colorado, Nevada, Oregon, and then Washington as well. So increasing up 47.1%. That's a total of $640 million in 2019 to 941 million in 2020. So outpacing the total marijuana market, growing by 39% during the same time period. Only flower grew by more at 54%. So 2020 pre-rolls had a 10% category market share by total sales, up from 9.5% in 2019. So looking at information from LeafLink in Los Angeles and New York, reporting that sales of pre-rolls are up on the national level. Sales of product categories increasing 144% year over year. And in January of 2021, pre-rolls made up 7.94% of the total market share, an increase of 1.7%. So why are pre-rolls performing so well? Well, there's several explanations, looking at a couple of them being that it's a good way for consumers to experiment. So if you want to spend, $10 and try a couple of different strains and see how that affects, how it affects you. Maybe it's the terpenes, maybe it's the flavonoids, maybe it's the high percentage of CBD or THC. People want to try different things. So same thing probably if or when you tried alcohol, maybe you liked one thing and not another. So great opportunity for that. Another one is that there's no longer a way to sell 1 gram packages. So maybe there's sub grams. If you want to try a third or a half gram, that's that opportunity. People that want to try small stuff. Another thing, easy to use, new entrants to the market. So if you don't have a bong, if you don't have a dab rig, if you don't want to buy anything, pre-rolls are the way to go. So in Washington State, number one demographic for pre-rolls is white women over the age of 50, and that's probably the soccer mom who doesn't want to have anything, just burn it down and toss it. So convenience, I guess, is back to that factor. So not a lot of people are going to want to spend $300 on a dab rig or anything else. They just kind of want to grab it and go. Think about what you do or what people do in the grocery store with alcohol. They'll go and buy some beer and they drink it and then they throw it away. So the whole ritual of having an expensive apparatus is probably not going to fit for a lot of people. And then finally, another reason for the proliferation of pre-rolls is looking at poor quality shake and trim. A lot of companies aren't wanting that, and so looking for high quality flower. And so there's some companies out there specializing in high quality pre-rolls, apparently. So this article goes into asking a few people around the country on their take on pre-rolls. In Michigan, there's an individual chief development officer for a particular brand who said that there's a huge increase in sales of pre-rolls since last year. Again, that is in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And then down to pre-rolls being a great way for consumers to try out new strains. That was the reason behind that. So Jim Belushi's farm in Southern Oregon said that pre-rolls make up about 35% of their company's revenue. Since the pandemic, their joints have jumped about 22% year over year. Labor costs and packaging take up about 75% of the payroll, according to Belushi, and said that the company rolled 250,000 joints in 2020. And one of his company's signature products is a 6-pack of quarter-gram joints. A lot of people just want to be able to consume that by themselves and not have to put it out, burn it down, and go. Looking at the East Coast in Massachusetts, it looks like pre-rolls made up this particular store's sales of 10% of store sales, and full gram pre-rolls being the biggest in that category, selling around $16 in Massachusetts. They also said that people are buying mini joints, that is 2 half-gram joints for $20, or buying in bulk 5 1-gram joints for $60. And in Portland, Maine, pre-rolls doubled in sales over the past 2 years, and a lot of that because of convenience factors. Apparently, Maine consumers enjoying new strains, trying smaller, mini joints as they're calling those, and then high quality flower is more the rule than the exception. I'm not really sure why they're throwing that into pre-rolls, because if you can't see it, how are you going to know that it's high quality? So it's interesting that they're kind of lumping that in there. So 40 million sightseers this year are going to be up in Maine. Hopefully, the tourists can help them out, because it's not helping out Nevada at all. But for more of your pre-roll needs, come back to the Talking Hedge. With that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Oh, wait a second. Forgot about this. All right, before we burn this one down, looking at Israeli smokable cannabis toothpicks. At first, I thought this was kind of really stupid idea. I wasn't sure, like, if you have a bong, what are you going to do? Break up a toothpick and then smoke that? But essentially, what it's for is European and Eastern European cannabis smokers who don't really smoke a lot of cannabis. So this is something that they're going to have tobacco in, and then you literally take the toothpick and then jam it into your spliff. So it's tobacco, predominantly tobacco, and this is what that's for, I'm assuming, right? So I can just kind of see in this video here that they've got this guy literally just has this thing that kind of looks like exactly like a toothpick, and he just jams that into cigarette and smokes it. So kind of a novelty, very small market, I would imagine, but relevant to the market over there in Eastern Europe. So kind of looks cool. If there was CBD, I would definitely shove that in, a joint from time to time, get a nice little 1-to-1 ratio, euphoric, energetic, uplifting, kind of like the Talking Hedge. So you come back here to the Talking Hedge and find out more. With that, we're gonna roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't. And I'm out. Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and check out these other videos that we've got.